Welcome everyone to another episode of the Big Brand MMA podcast. I'm your host BigSteve, like usual. Big pay-per-view card, episode 83, Gaethje versus Poirier rematch. Feels like I haven't done one of these in a long time. It's good to be back. Um, Usually try stay very consistent. Even when I have no time, I wake up early at 5 a.m. to do one, even when I'm sick, etc., etc. So yeah, a little bit annoyed I didn't do a podcast last week. I do apologize. I was in Europe, and I did the first podcast in Europe with really bad Wi-Fi, and then I broke my laptop. So the good news is I don't have to pay a fortune for it. I manifested a good solution. But yeah, now I'm at my best friend's house. Got some nice Wi-Fi. Uh, Live listeners, let me know if the mic doesn't work or anything like that. The sound is bad. Um, in terms of my photos, I usually have a photo down the bottom, but I don't think anyone listens. Anyone watches to see my face. It's all about the breakdowns. So as long as you can hear me. I also don't have Photoshop, so I couldn't do a thumbnail. But those all semantics, The breakdowns are the main part. If it is your first time listening, like I said, I try to do this every week. I'm a full-time gambler. I'm from Australia, originally from Serbia. I'm here right now. Big units, 1,500. I need big units so I can pay my bills. I live up this stuff. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, excited to do a podcast for you guys and not rush and do a nice and slow one. And I taped the card and yeah, very pumped. So let's do a quick little overview. Obviously, we have to do 2 weeks because I didn't get a chance to do an overview last week. So home versus Bueno Silva, tough card. It was a bunch of fights I didn't get to tape. Essentially, the first bet was Maxim versus Tyson Am under 2.5. That felt a little bit forced, but I played it, for 1,000 to win half a unit. That lost. That was always the case. Nam, if he doesn't land a killer blow, he's quite durable as well. I thought Nam was going to get knocked out early. It never happened. Kind of a bit of a sparring match. Passed on the Evan Elder over 1.5, which I mentioned in the pod. A little bit annoying. I just had this issue with overs. I'm so good at unders that I need to adjust that. Costa, I hammered $1.53, still value at minus 200, absolutely dominated. I wish that was a 2-unit bet. Bunch of 2-unit bets I'm passing on recently. That's $3,000 for me. It's a lot, so I'm still having a mental block. That should have been one. Estela Nunez, I had early line and I just completely hedged it off, so I don't lose any money. I won 66 on Dudakova because the hedge, thank God. It would have been a tilting loss. Bunch of passes, pass. I had an under 2.5 juice and an under 2.5 parlay with Prado. A little bit square, but there was no way that both these fights were going over 2.5, so I just hammered them to win a unit, 1,500. I contemplated under 1.5 in both of those, which would have hit, and then I had Holly Home at an early line, which I said I hated. And the CLV made me keep it. I've done that before. I said to myself, if I keep this CLV bet and it loses again after a bad instinct, I will be very annoyed, and that's exactly what happened. Your gut is the best, I don't know, sign for bets, right? And I had a bad feeling about it. And then I also missed out on some rounds 1 and round 2 Bueno Silva because I had that bet. But other than that, I was up $500. And then it came down to home and I lost 1,000. I reduced to, not even a unit. So I lost $300 there, which, it is what it is. My month has been going up and down like that. I think I was up like 1,000 after that. And then luckily I did hit the Philip de Fries by finish at minus 200. That should have been another minus. That should have been another 2-unit bet. I've been passing on these 2-unit bets. But yeah, that cashed. So I was like $400 in profit. Another average weekend. But I knew I was due. So last week, Cage Warriors had my biggest win of the month. 2,400 and something, 2,500. Let me just double check. Doesn't matter. Yeah, just under 2,500. Had some square parlays. Tanasa and Riley to win half a unit. Curry, Hardwick, and Vucetić. That's very square. I don't really trust curry, but I just, taped it and said, oh, fuck it, let's roll. I tailed some people in my Discord. And Hardwick, was fighting a decent dude, and yeah, I just said let's roll the dice. Yeah, they both hit for 1,500, and then I hit Emil Brown as a dog, easy round 1 KO. I think people were expecting Jesse to wrestle him because other people have, and he's been going for guillotines a lot. Hasn't attempted one, so a bit of improvement there. Hit the Fleminus Skabinski under 2.5 at plus money. Yeah, just swept the card. 2,500, and then following the UFC, another tough card. I had very minimal bets. What did I end up playing? Muradov and Aspinall parlay to win a unit. I think they're both covered personally. Mick Parkins, super big regret passing on that. That one hurt. Luckily, my other bet, Joel Alvarez by finish, cashed. A little bit juicy, people telling me it was square, but it is what it is. It was always gonna hit. Mark Diakese decision might have had more value, but it was never gonna hit. So you gotta play the players that are gonna win. Yeah, dodged the bullet on Grant. I was gonna play him. Regret passing on Murphy or Juice. It is what it is. Had Feely, 500. That was the only bet that lost. But yeah, I'll play that anytime. 1-1 going into the third. And I had a Molly McCann, doesn't go. A little bit better than minus 200, a unit to win half a unit. Again, juicy, but that was always going to end. No regrets there. So I ended up with 2,400 there as well. So I regret passing on a Tom Aspinall round 1. It was close to $3. That was his path. But yeah, can't complain. Almost $5,000. I was due, and that puts me at around 36,000 for the year. I said this was going to be my best year. I made 40,000 last year, so I'm going to smash that. I'm aiming for minimum 60,000, but why not 70? Why not 80? Why not shoot for the stars? Right. So yeah, nice long breakdown. Apologies, but had to cover 2 weeks. I also do apologize for not being more active on Twitter. I'm trying to enjoy Europe. When I come back, I grind way too much, so it's good to get away from the stress, the constant tape. And not posting on Bad MMA and Sherdog. But I mean, I'm always on my Discord, and I'm there 24/7, and I'm always posting bets. So as long as the people that actually pay me for the Discord don't miss out, that's the only thing I care about. Profit and people that tail me to cash. If I don't post on Bad MMA, who gives a shit? But yeah, that's it. Let's address the comments. Kyrax, sounds good, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. And Zen Monkey, you might be first time listener. Thanks for joining, mate. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into this card, shall we? Miranda Maverick versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I haven't really taped this one. I'm just sick of it. I've been taping Priscilla Cachoeira a lot. All her fights keep falling off recently, so it's a bit of a pain in the ass. I taped her for the Korean Silver fight. I taped her for the Sajara Eubanks, and it falls off. So I know her quite well, and I went super deep against Jasmine Justavicius for Maverick, to see how much I should put on the dog. So I know these girls well. Maverick will get takedowns. Cachoeira has underrated submission defense. You watch all her fights. If you tape them properly, you can see that, she's getting out of subs against McCann. Shevchenko took Shevchenko a lot of time to beat her up just because she had good submission defense. And Luana Carolina had her in a deep guillotine and a triangle choke. Jillian's a different animal with her rear naked chokes. So I don't think it's going to be easy for Maverick. She's probably going to get some takedowns. I would never play Maverick at this juice line. I see people are parlaying it. Props to you. Good luck. I'm not going to shit on you. I parlay stupid stuff too, but not for me. The over 1.5 is way too juiced, even though I lean that way. And then the 2.5 is a pick'em. I don't know. I would have to look into it. I don't know if I will. There's a lot of regionals this week. The money's in the regional this week. Unfortunately, I was limited as well. So good news with the laptop. Bad news with getting limited on Bet365, my main bookie. But that's fine. Hopefully I can get my laptop and then use my Bet Online account today. So yeah, past fight didn't tape it at all. Uroš Medic, Matthew Simmonsberger. So this one here, I did tape this one, and crazy steam on Matthew. I get it. He's he's big, and he's got a bunch of UFC wins, and he's reliable. he's not a bum. He's got power. He's physical. And on the other side, he's fighting people. He's fighting Urosh, who people seem to think that he's a flake and is a gasser. They're still going off his Alaska FC tape and the fact that Jalen Turner ran through him. But I like to see, performances like Omar Morales where he's fighting within himself and, doing stuff he hasn't done before. And Omar Morales, underrated guy. He's also got power and he's more physical and stronger. And, Medic fought patiently and lit him up, dropped him with a good counter strike, counter hook end of round 1 and then finished him round 2. So I don't think he was tired at all. So I think he's, technically speaking, a lot more advanced in his striking. I think he has special vibes. I'm still deciding, is he special? Is he improving? Can he, go on a run? And because when he came to the UFC, man, his footwork, his speed, he's in and out. He's got power. He's got long reach and height for lightweight. This is obviously a welterweight. So I don't want to underestimate Urosh. I liked what I saw in the Omar Morales fight. The Jalen Turner means nothing. Jalen Turner's ran through a lot of people like that. And Alan Cruz is a decent fighter too, and he just ran through him as well. He's a little bit chinny. So yeah, I mean, Matthew Simmonsberger is just a plodding oaf, and he has been outstruck by Chaos Williams, who all he does is throw wild hooks. And Alex Morano put on a clinic against him, and he's not really a technical striker either. He's got a weird way of striking. And Jake Matthews, he's winning moments, but he just kept getting dropped in every single round. I think something similar like that could happen here. I still don't know anything about Medic's chin. I don't know anything about his, cardio. I mean, I know it's okay, but from what we've seen in the Omar fight, but he wasn't really pushed. It's an elevation. It's a welterweight. It's a short notice fight. He had hand injury and he's got issues with his hand. Although I went on his Instagram and he said he would fight in 3-4 months since the surgery, and that's exactly what happened. So I think he was ready. I just wish I knew if he feels good at welterweight. If he's just taking a short notice fight, or if he feels better. Maybe if I saw some interviews saying, I feel better at welterweight, I was draining myself at lightweight, then confidence increased. But minus 200 on Matthew Simmonsberger when he's most likely going to be losing moments, to Medic. Simmonsberger is just a good 1-2 and a leg kick, and that's it. And occasionally he goes for takedowns, but that's it. And it wins him fights because he hits so hard, and he's so physical. But he also slows down too. So I reckon Urosh could put on a clinic here. I'm leaning maybe Urosh has some value but loses ultimately just because of big moments. But yeah, I don't know. It's a clear dog or pass. Clear dog or pass. Maybe I watch some interviews. The under is a little bit juiced, $1.57. Could be a play, man. Could be a play. I think Medic is live to KO him. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's address the comments. What do we got? A lot of listeners. Thanks, guys. Couture has shit for brains, so she'll get taken down easily. She will, but she'll fight for your money, man. And Maverick also has shit for brains. Don't forget about that. Moise Audio, howdy, Moise. Thanks for listening, mate. Zen Monkey. Medic, I think he's training at Kings MMA now. He's been training there for a while, mate. He's been training there for a while. You should be seeing a lot of leveling up from him, and I think we already have. Sparring hard. His hands always break because he spars hard, so you can't underrate that. All right, let's move on. CJ Vergara, Vinicius Salvador. I can't get a proper read on this fight. I'm tossing up between playing CJ because he's a known commodity and he's trustworthy, and he's good cardio, pressure, power, durability, and also playing Vinicius as a dog because he also fights for your money. He has cardio. He's only 27 years of age, and CJ's hittable and not really worth the favorite line. So I'm tossing up between there. I don't know which way to go. So I'll most likely just pass. I don't want to force a juice play on CJ. I think CJ as a live bet would be better because he always starts slow and he's always hittable. And Vinicius, he's a better play pre-fight because he's the actual dog and it's going to be a volatile striking battle. They both have deficiencies in grappling. I don't think, either of these guys are going to grapple proactively. I think Salvador has underrated power. A lot of people crap on him, like my boy Rivera, who's his older brother. We'll talk about later because of his hooks. But this is MMA. This is not boxing. And there's a lot of weird, janky styles in MMA that work. And his style works. He throws bombs in the pocket and he's confident and he has good head movement. So he drags people into the pocket with his head movement and low hands, and then he slips and rips. And he might win that battle against CJ, who is extremely hittable, like I said. So if CJ comes in, pressures, he might get countered up top with the left right, and then to the body with the left right. Yeah, I mean CJ's not trustworthy at this line. He's lost to someone like uh, Oda Osborne because he was lighting him up early. Clayton was lighting him up early. He's lucky he hit Clayton to the body, and Daniel said almost knocked him out. So yeah, dog or pass for me. CJ will be a better live bet. Um, it's just a volatile striking fight. They're both going to fight for your money, and Salvador carries power late. I don't know why people are fading him. He's not bad. He's not like a flake. CJ Vergara usually wins round 3 at a high clip and breaks people that are flakes, like Ode. Clayton might be a flake too. I'm yet to see. I want to see Clayton fight more too. But Salvador's not a flake. He was actually making Victor Altamirano gas in the third because Altamirano was panic wrestling, and Vince Salvador hit him with some bombs, and he's incredibly durable. So he will come on strong. So he might be able to meet Cesar Vergara in the middle in rounds 3 and bang it out. So yeah, dog or pass for me. It's just I don't know if I want my money on this fight. Alrighty, let's move on. What do we got? Daniel Mofo, the boy. He's in my Discord chat, fella. Medic probably has good BJJ. I mean, probably. It's hard to tell. In the Alaskan regional scene, he was easily taken down, but he had some good triangle attacks, and he's good at regarding. He regarded against Jalen Turner as well. I'm sure it's not bad. Eric Jadanaston. Simmonsberger price is madness. Dog or pass? Of course, man. Just minus 200 against the guy that I think is a better striker. Pepe Silva, the boy, very sharp man, also in the Discord. If CJ wrestles early, he's minus 1,000. I don't know, man. I don't know. Salvador will get up, and then it's going to be war again. Alrighty. Jake Matthews, Darius Flowers. All right, so this fight here, the line's a bit crazy on Jake Matthews. No way in hell I would play someone like Jake. And this is probably one of the fighters that lives closest to me. Epping, Melbourne, same city, and maybe like 50-minute drive. He trains at one of the gyms I cross-train at, Absolute MMA. No, not Absolute MMA, my bad. He trains with Barack Salmon. Good jiu-jitsu guy, black belt, Australian. But yeah, I don't know. I know Jack Matthews well. I've been following him since day one. I watch his fights live in Sydney, Melbourne, and you can't trust this dude. He gets hit, he gets dropped. He's made a meal out of some of the squash matches UFC has offered him. He's never beat anyone good other than Jing Liang, and that was a fluke. Yeah, but Darius Flowers is beast mode. Is kill or be killed. I hit him as a dog in Contender Series against Amiran Gogoladze because that was a bit of a fraud. But yeah, tape. I didn't go big because you tape his fights, and he's getting finished. Everyone that's ever beat him has finished him. Joe Badepo, or bum dude, kid locked him in the first round. He was lighting up Bobby Walker, who was old at that point, and Walker just all of a sudden just finished him in round 2. Just cardio died. That was a while back. Some people are saying he's improved, but it's hard to say he's improved. He's just knocked out a bunch of dudes in LFA early, and then he's always dangerous. Tim Karen, the guy that did a decision, which I can't find tape of. Tim Karen's absolutely awful. Impa Kasangana had his way with him. He's just not dangerous at all. So he most likely just wrestled Tim Karen to a 3-round decision. He has good wrestling and good power, so I can definitely assume he wrestled Tim Karen. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a dog or pass. I don't know if I want to play Darius Flowers just because he's in every single loss he's just fallen apart, and Jake has he's a black belt. He's got a well-rounded game. He's extremely explosive, and he knocks people down. If anything, I'll just play the juiced under here. The juiced, because I'm limited. I'm limited to win $150 on the props. Money line's a little bit better. I haven't really played around with it. I'll see how bad it is after the podcast. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to play the under 2.5 at $1.45, just under minus 200, and they only took $150, and then it moved, and it feels like another Molly McCann fight. I felt dirty about playing the Molly fight doesn't go at minus 200, but I felt like it should have been 80% implied. The armbar or Molly KO late. And this feels the same. Darius Flowers easy KO early, and Jake Matthews, late or maybe early or a guillotine or drops him, knocks him out. I know there's Jake Matthews is an awful finisher, absolutely awful finisher. He couldn't knock out Akman, who's chinny. Dropped Jing Liang like 5 times. Dropped Emil Meek, couldn't finish him. Couldn't finish a Wash Diego Sanchez. Finally took him Andrew Fiallo, who's chinny, to finish him. But he's an awful finisher. But it's just like Darius Flowers just implodes all of a sudden out of the blue. So yeah, I wouldn't mind, just parlaying or just hammering, the other 2.5. I think it's also potentially 75% implied. But yeah, it's a dog or pass otherwise. Alrighty, what do we got next? Roman Coppola of Claudia Rivera. Interesting fight. Not Pepe. Daniel Mofa. Medic was a coach at Anchorage BJJ. Where's that, mate? Maybe you can fill me in. Yeah, I do think he's got underrated BJJ. Roman Kopylov. Now, this is my boy. I've been hitting Roman Kopylov when everyone's been shitting on him. You know, underestimating him, and now the line has completely, completely. The line is completely overreactionary, and that always happens in MMA and UFC in particular. Which is why there will always be an edge. He's good, but he's a very sharp striker, beautiful body kick, fast hands, southpaw. But he still slows down. He's got elite takedown defense. He still slows down. He still can be hit. The Chirico played him there. He was hitting some bombs. He had his hands on his knees. But when I taped him in depth against Puna Hele Soriano, when he puts his hands on his knees, that's when the finish is coming. He's just weird. He gets tired so quickly. This is elevation, and Claudio Rivera, another guy that people love to shit on. My boy, just because he fights like Salvador with those big looping hooks, but he's the more athletic guy here. He's got the more one punch KO power. He's got a big calf kick. So yeah, man, I don't know. It's going to be a striking fight. Again, both guys have issues with takedowns, and Roman Kopylov doesn't really. He's got elite takedown defense and get-ups, but he's just bad off his back. I think the microphone just died. Let me know if you can still hear me. Yeah, he's got issues with takedowns, but yeah, I don't. These guys are going to strike. So yeah, this is a dog or pass for me again. I think Claudio Rivera can keep it competitive. He's probably going to eat some body kicks, but he's really good at countering, and he's got big power. He's actually got the bigger reach here. I'm really close to playing Rivera. I think I'm going to put 500, a quarter unit on it. But yeah, dog or pass, easy. Big overreaction here. Definitely the more technical guy, Kopylov, and bigger power in Rivera. Both guys have beat no one. Kopylov, Puna Haley is horrible, just throws overhands and then gasses. But yeah, dog or pass. I'll probably have some money. I'm trying to rush now because I think these wireless headphones are going to die, and I don't know how to charge them. It's my friend's and he's at work. So Derek Lewis, the Lima pass fight, I would have loved that pick 'em line. I kept looking at it without tape, and I knew there was value. I don't know why I didn't play it. I get why it's getting steamed. He can use the leg kicks. He can use the grappling, but it's still the Lima. He's not worth this price, minus 200 now. I'd rather play the dog. I don't think I will. Derek Lewis very close to beating Ty, knocking him out. I think he's still got some juice in the tank. I think he can get up early from some takedowns. But yeah, minus 200 for the Lima. He's fought some low-level dudes. The last guy was very green, and he still got up heaps of times. And he couldn't finish him with his jiu-jitsu. He was a white belt. So Derek Lewis will get up. Could be competitive, but it's elevation. Derek Lewis probably quits at some point. No interest. I don't know. The over-unders. It could go over, could go under. Both are durable. The overs are plus money. Over 1.5. Jeez, that's a big plus money number. You know me, I hate my overs because I'm conditioned to always play the unders. But anyway, let's move on. Trevin Giles versus Gabriel Bonfim. This is the only fight the only thing I really want to play here is the under 1.5. I'm surprised that it's close to pick'em, $1.80. Again, I can't really hit it hard. Yeah, to win 150, unfortunately, limited at the worst time. But yeah, Bonfim's run through people before. Trevin Giles is weird. He has good submission defense. But he doesn't. He had his back taken by James Krause, survived. He was on the ground with Mishat for a while. He was on the ground with Delite, who was inverting, and he was calm. He got out of Duplessis' guillotine. Was on the ground where Preston passes, never in any danger. But then again, you see him making mistakes and getting caught late, getting submitted. So he's got good submission defense, but then he's making errors and he's still getting caught. And Preston Parsons hurt him in round 1. I don't remember that. I just watched it. So I think him at welterweight and at this age, I think he's quite washed, man. He's only 30, but I think he was better early in his career when he was beating good guys in LFA. Now he's just, yeah, not the same guy. If Gabriel is going to win convincingly and cover this line, it's probably going to be an under 1.5. And he's very aggressive. He came very aggressive against Lazez. I think someone's going to catch Bonfim. I just don't know who it's going to be. I don't think Giles could catch him, but I don't know if he's going to finish him. He was hurt in LFA as well. The one fight that went into round 3 and he came back and finished him. But that Brenner Alberth guy, he's got some power and it was 8-0 at the time. I actually rate the other brother more than this brother just because he's been through it, through adversity. This Bonfim, I don't like how reckless he is and how he puts his chin on the platter there. Munir Lazez almost cracked him a few times. But then again, maybe that was his plan, to be aggressive. So Lazez shoots and he caught a guillotine. Maybe that's going to happen here too. So the under 1.5 is the only thing I really want to play. But yeah, let's move on. Giallo, Coppola of round 3 TKO. That's potentially something I thought about as well. Daniel Mofo, Anchorage, BJJ in Alaska. Oh, I don't know. I think I could be a coach, but jiu-jitsu coach in Alaska personally. Alrighty, let's keep it going. Main card, Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Honestly, taping this fight, I thought I would be like Chiesa. I know we all know Holland's deficiencies very well. But then I left thinking I would rather play Kevin Holland. I think, I see improvement in his grappling. I think at welterweight he's a different beast. He's athletic. He got up multiple times against Kamzat. He's a lot more explosive, athletic. He got taken down a few times by Means, who's got good wrestling. 35 years of age and with the inactivity and, being a blanket, I don't think he's going to submit Holland. Holland gets submitted by the elite of the elite, Brendan Allen and Kamzat. Allen submitted, Moniz of all people, third degree black belt. I think Chiesa, he laid on Magny for 5 rounds and couldn't really submit him. And if you can't submit Magny, everyone submits Magny. I think he's more of a blanket these days. He's not athletic. He just wants to lay on you. And I think there's going to be a bunch of get-ups by Kevin Holland. And then, at that point, I don't like, I'd rather just play Michael Chiesa by decision, because I think that's his path, and I think it's pretty low path as well. And on the same token, I don't really want to play Kevin Holland at juice. Finish is pretty average. His finish line was way better against the washed and chinny Santiago Ponzinibbio, right? And I like that play a lot. This $2.20, not really into it. Rather play Kevin Holland, submission, little cheeky avenue of playing it, even though it's not very cheeky. You wiki cap and Kevin Lee submitted him, Anthony Pettis submitted him, Luque submitted him. So I don't want to say it's a favorite or pass, but it's just I'd rather play Kevin Holland. I don't really want to play. I'd rather play decision, Michael Chiesa decision, but it's a pass fight. I'm not really feeling it. It'd be good live betting fight. Maybe if you see that Chiesa's about to flake, but yeah, still while in Europe, no live betting for me. So let's move on. Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green. I haven't really taped it much. I just taped Bobby Green quickly against Doba. I know that fight well. It's one of the reasons why I faded Doba. I didn't want to play Doba or Juice against Favola. Very hittable, and Green was lighting him up. Yes, he has a bit of issues with Gordon, and I think because his boxing is so technically clean, and Gordon's a bit awkward. He couldn't get a read, but I think he would have got a read on Gordon eventually and would have lit him up. He just had to get his reads in rounds 2 and 3. Tony Ferguson's a bit weird as well, and he also might take him a little bit to figure him out. $1.30. It's steamed even more now. If he gets a step down, Bobby Green usually runs through people. But Tony Ferguson, I quickly watched the Diaz fight. It wasn't as bad as I remember, and Diaz also has good boxing. Yeah, I don't want to parlay someone like Green. He's also old, and striking fight. Who knows? Ferguson might catch him with an elbow or something. Yeah, pass. But good luck to everyone parlaying Green. Obviously, it's a ton of people. All right, this fight, I went deep into this one. Stephen Thompson, I get it. I was taping thinking, Michael Pereira, Michel Pereira, similar styles. They both still stick on the outside, and even though Stephen Thompson is a good striker and he usually lights up people to strike with him recently, he can go to close decisions with strikers. If they're really good and they feint, for example, the bum, what's his name, Darren Till, and he was a bit scared with the Tyron Woodley overhand, and he just kept feinting and not really committing. Maybe that can happen here too. And Pereira being very negative, skirting on the outside, running away, maybe ends up being like a big feinting battle, and obviously it's a dog or pass at that point. But then I went deep, with Pereira, and I mean the guy's beaten nobody, man. The guy's beat nobody. Chinny and Wash, Danny Roberts is the only guy he knocked out, so he's a really bad finisher. Tristan Connolly beat him. Chinny and Wash, Diego Sanchez, he couldn't finish him. Zalima Madaev finished him at the end, almost in Chaos Williams. That's his best win. That was very close. Washed and hittable. Nico Price couldn't finish him. He did beat the crap out of him though. Andrew Fiala, I mean, even Jake Matthews can beat him. Couldn't finish him. Had a rough round 1-2. Super washed. And Chinny Santiago Ponzinibbio couldn't finish him either. And that was a split, although I did think he was clear 29-28. I played him there, pick him. The tape told me it should be a smash spot. But, he's just, when you pressure him, he doesn't cover that line, and he slows down in a third. And he doesn't, he can't fight backwards. So when you pressure him, he just shells up and, does like a Superman punch off the cage or blitzes, to get you to get away from him. Meanwhile, Thompson can fight backwards. He's got a mean check hook. When you pressure him, he lands it all the time. He can switch stances. He can throw a spinning back. He can throw a side kick to the face. So in terms of striking, I think Thompson is levels above. He's got so many more layers. Whereas Michel Pereira just skirts on the outside. He also has good footwork left and right, and just blitzes and just uses his size and speed and athleticism to just kind of take advantage of hittable, slower dudes. And I mean, Stephen Thompson's also got speed too. But it's hard to place Thompson, 40 years of age and hands low. He's always getting hit, right? He's always getting hit. He got hurt by Luque in the first. He got hurt by Kevin Holland again. Didn't get finished. I think Kevin Holland hits a lot harder than Pereira. Anthony Pettis landed like a meme KO, which I think is Michel Pereira's path here. So yeah, it's hard to play him, even though I feel, that's Pereira's path, and what are the chances? But you never know, man. Stephen Thompson, at 40 years of age and always getting cracked, this could be the fight. Otherwise, I do lean Thompson. If this fight gets extended, I think he's going to be the cleaner striker. He's going to be feinting and setting up Pereira, whereas Pereira is just going to be blitzing. But it's another Salvador, CJ Vergara. I feel like anything can happen. I think Steven could be lighting him up. He could get caught. He could look massive favorite. Pereira can maybe look value if it's a close striking battle. I hate these striking battles, volatile ones, so I'm not going to force it. If anything, I might look at these unders, right? What's his name? Stephen Wonderboy has been lighting up people and not finishing them. Extremely durable dudes like Kevin Holland within the 3 rounds, finished them later. And Luque, maybe Pereira is the guy that he finishes because Pereira is so hittable, and Gaethje, massive unders, and then also maybe Pereira memes him. That's the only thing I'm considering, but I don't know. The over's a favorite for a reason. They're both very negative. Okay, let's move on. Another fight. I mean, these last 3 fights are all the same. Jan Blachowicz, Alex Pereira. I thought I would like Alex as a dog shot. I think at light heavyweight, it's a much better division for him. He's still massive. He's still bigger than Jan, bigger reach, but he's just not depleting as much. He's going to have the power still. So I think that's going to help with his cardio and his durability, even though, I mean, he had enough cardio to knock out Adesanya in round 5. So yeah, I thought I would like him, but then, taping, it just seems volatile. Jan can be competitive enough with the striking. Yeah, they're both check kicks. It could be kind of like back and forth. Pereira needs big moments, but if anyone can get big moments, it's Pereira. He's like an absolute truck. Maybe Jan will get big moments. Jan's also 40. He's about to, at some point, he's gonna fall off. But his style works for his age because he doesn't exert much. He's very technical. He counters. He blitzes. He's got big reach. He's got power, and he can just stay in his shell and check kicks, and he's durable, and he can wait for the right moment. But I don't know if that's going to work against Pereira, but it might. Pereira's pretty open too. He's bouncy. His hands are low. So yeah, it's almost a pick him there. I don't see any edge, and I don't see any edge on the under because it's been absolutely steamed, -200 now. So whatever, volatile striking fight. Speaking of volatile striking fights, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, same thing. But at least in this one, it's a clear dog or pass for me. And if anything, I'll play Gaethje at dollar at decent. Well, not decent, slight dog shots. But I feel like this is a pick 'em. I don't know why. Dustin is the consensus favorite. They're the same age. They fought 5 years ago. Justin's a complete different fighter. I know everyone's going to be. I hate repeating the same stuff everyone says on the podcast, but it has to be said. Um, when I taped and passed on Pantoja versus Morano, I saw Morano. Pantoja would be losing, and then he would start lighting him up. And Morano hasn't fixed that. He was still getting cracked by Figgy, and he's still got that Mexican defense. So and he still can be taken down, and that's what happened in the rematch. But this here, Justin, Justin doesn't plod into the pocket with his hands up anymore, and he's not as hittable. His hands are low, but he's a lot more in and out and bouncy. His boxing is improved. He's got a beautiful uppercut. He feints. He sets people up. If anything, Dustin Poirier is more of the same guy. He still has a Philly shell. The boxing's the same. He still has issues with the ground game and takedown defense. It's just he's very good, and that works for him. He's a high-level fighter. But yeah, Justin's definitely the guy that's improved more, and he's just come off, and they've lost the same people, Khabib, Charles. Poirier lasted a little bit longer because, he sat, Oliveira sat in his guard for all of round 2, but they both have issues with the ground game. They both dropped Oliveira. Khabib finished both of them. It means nothing to me. And yeah, since then, Gaethje's fought Chandler, beat him convincingly. Poirier had a war 1-1 going to the third. Gaethje fought a world-class striker in Fiziev who's got the kicks and a lot more speed than Poirier, and he lost round 1, but he kept it competitive even though he's strictly a boxer. And round 2 was competitive too, and he started moving away with it. And then round 3 kind of also started bad, but then he just absolutely started lighting up Fiziev. He made a good adjustment to jab, and just lit him up. And if that was a 5-rounder, Justin would have finished him. But yeah, Fiziev has bad cardio, and Dustin doesn't. Both these guys are dogs. Poirier is hittable as well. I think Justin has the more one-punch KO power, so it's an easy dog or pass. Both these guys are not going to quit. They're both going to fight for your money. Overs are juice. I see their popular play. I just don't have the risk management, to play a juice. Actually, no, the over 2.5 is almost a pick 'em. So whichever way you favor. But I think if it is going to be a finish, I think it's going to be a little bit later. I don't see Gaethje, landing a big bomb and turning off Poirier. If anything, I can see him hurting him multiple times. I can see Poirier hurting Gaethje multiple times, and just both surviving. And but yeah, and when you go to the 3.5, then under 3.5, it gets a bit juiced. So I just feel like they're all accurately lined, and I don't want it. I don't want no part of it. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. That's a whole card. Let's read the comments and get the F out of here, shall we? Luckily, the microphone hasn't died, so thank God for that. Giallo, pretty sure Lucrative prefers Gabriel over his bro. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that just because he's a lot more explosive and has finishing upside. But I like a guy that can win a decision against tough opponents. Finishing upside dudes, when they stop finishing guys, maybe there's some flakiness. Crow's gonna have a fit if Chiesa lays on him in side control for 10 minutes. I don't know if he will, man. I don't know. Even Magni was getting up. I got Holland, Pillow Fist Brits, one of my boys from Australia. I got Holland KO at $13 this morning. Line has moved to $1. Really? That's a big move. I got Green round 3 or decision. Yeah, that could work. I just don't like how hittable Ferguson is. Bonfini inside the distance, $2.93. Giles inside the distance, $5.75. Under. Yes, I like all those. Ortho is one of the sharpest regional boys. He's Polish. He lives in Poland. He knows his KSW. Jump in the Discord, boys. It's a sharp Discord. It's not about tailing me. It's a good community. Pereira only live against flat-footers. Well, yes, exactly. If you're talking about Wonderboy Pereira, I agree. Theme of the card, elevation, and will they shoot for takedowns? I wouldn't rely on Pereira. I mean, if Pereira shoots for takedowns, I think Wonderboy would just get up. Alrighty, that's it. Let's go over the whole card, and then I don't think I've told you guys that I have one bet, but that's the way it is, That's the way it is. Maverick, Couture, pass, haven't taped. Medic, Simmonsberger, easy dog or pass. I'll have to do some media tape and see if I want to play Medic. I don't know about his chin. I don't know if he'll get dropped by Simmonsberger. Vinci, Salvador, CJ, easy dog or pass. Again, Flowers, Matthews, another dog or pass. I actually played the unders. I think I got like $900 to win 600 of like $47, $45, $40. Claudia, Rivera, easy dog or pass. I'm pretty sure I'll pull $500 on Rivera. Lima dog will pass. Bonfim, the under 1.5. I'm looking into it deeply. Kevin Holland, I'd rather play Kevin, over a washed Chiesa. I just don't like the line. Bobby Green, yeah, probably should win, pass. Pereira, I don't know. Thompson, I think Thompson, I don't like the juice. Pereira, I don't know. It's a tough one. And then same with Jan, no value, and Gaethje, dog or pass. I might play Gaethje, man. I might play Gaethje. Maybe for half a unit. I don't understand why it's so, why money's coming in on Poirier. Alrighty, now in terms of regionals, I did lock in Felipe Lima on Octagon at $3.70 multiple times before I was limited, a week ago. Yeah, I think Lima's a very good fighter who's meant to be on Contender Series. Oh, Road to UFC, pardon me. And Magad, the guy that he's fighting, he beat Liam Gittins. He's fought the who's who. He just knocked out Luis Gustavo from the UFC. He's the Octagon champ. But $1.31, no way he covers this. Lima seems quite good. There's questions about his cardio in a 5-rounder. There's questions about a lot of things, because he's beat some dudes that are not the greatest. But he's 23 years of age. He's great. He's on the UFC radar. He's fighting from All Star. He's training from All Star in Sweden. So yeah, I mean, no brainer for me. I personally, I could say the fight is a pick 'em, or I could give my guard slight slight favorite odds just because he's more tested and we've seen him go along and fight who's who on the regionals. But even then, a slight favorite, there's a little bit of value. So it's a dog or pass either way. I don't know if I'll tape any of these other Octagon fights because Bet365 is the only ones that has them, and now I'm limited to like $150 profit. It's a waste of time. And the other, I had 2 units on AJ McKee, massive lock. I finally got the balls to play 2 units after passing on Renat, the Fries, and everything, and they take the fight. They cancelled the fight. Nothing else I like on Bellator. Turn my microphone off again. I think it's dying. Nothing else I like on Bellator. Maybe sprinkle Kyoji's opponent. He's very good. Young submission guy. But other than that, the only bet I have is the Flowers under, and I'm gonna say Rivera dog money. Yeah, I don't want to give a best bet. The best bet is Felipe Lima. Let's just say that. But I don't have a lock this week, so I won't give you boys any of that. I'm gonna tape some Cage Warriors and go from there. Yeah, like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm glad I could do a podcast in Europe. Nice, slow one. Not rush it. Yeah, I'm not going to force anything on this card. Thank you for listening. Jump in the Discord if you want. If not, it's all good. It's always in my link, my YouTube link. What about this? Line move to $2.50. What's this Pillow Fist, Brits? Is this the Holland by KO? Oh, the Felipe Lima. Yes. But I still think there's a little bit of value, conservatively. It's just a lot of question marks. Giallo, appreciate your time as always, mate. Enjoy Europa. Thank you, mate. I'm enjoying Europa a lot. That's about it. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more regional picks on my Twitter, Discord, and yeah, thanks for listening.